Ukraine is not the only focus in Geneva today. US-Iran indirect talks will also take place there today. And President Trump has said that he believes Iran wants to make a deal over its nuclear program. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Mr. Trump said that he didn't think the Iranian authorities wanted to face the consequences of not making a deal. For its part, the Iranian Foreign Ministry, through its spokesperson, said that the US had moved towards a more realistic position on talks on Tehran's nuclear program.
Well, I spoke to Bijan, a US-Iranian businessman with connections to Iranian opposition groups in the US. He also served on President Trump's transition team before Mr. Trump's first time in the White House. So, what is he expecting from these talks?
It's very difficult to be able to answer that question from the perspective of the President of the United States. However, I could say with confidence, the President of the United States has no incentives to compromise on anything. He's made it very clear of his demands of what he wants to see. Of course, there's been a talk about maybe a limited scope, but I doubt that President Trump would back down on anything. So he is aiming for a headline that reads like, I brought the Islamic Republic to its knees without firing a shot. However, he knows that he has to be consistent with the statements that he has made, and I believe he will be. I have no doubt that President Trump will take measures that will make sure that the outcome of this phase of engagement is what he wants. He has no incentive to back down on anything. On the other hand, I don't see the Iranian side believing that they're dealing with a different president of the United States this time. But they'll be reminded of what happens last time they didn't take Trump seriously. It's a difficult situation. Look, we know it's difficult. It's not an easy one for the Iranians because accepting the surrender means complete fall and removal of the regime.
So why would they then, in that case? Why would they accept what you think Mr. Trump would like?
That's the complexity. They're betting on President Trump blinking. I don't think so. I think they've been wrong in policy formation for 47 years. And this time, there's a bigger problem. The bigger problem is not any foreign power not liking them. It's the people of Iran. A lot of people were killed. I don't know the numbers. Tens of thousands. I've heard numbers as high as 80,000 or 100,000 people killed. Do you think the Islamic Republic can make up with its own people? Impossible. Change is inevitable. This time is different. There is a sea of blood between the government of Islamic Republic and the people of Iran. This is not an easy situation for them. They can't get away with it this time.
So when Iran says that the US's approach to its nuclear program has become, quote, more realistic, end quote, do you simply not believe that, or do you think there's possibly some truth in it?
Possibly some truth in it. More realistic is an impression that they receive, and that's good. If they think U.S. is being more realistic, don't forget, they have to say things appropriate for internal consumption. They cannot say anything else. In these negotiations, each side is free to say whatever they want to say, but the reality doesn't change. The reality is Islamic Republic is a menace to its own people, to the countries in the Persian Gulf region, to the world, and to the United States and its closest ally in the Middle East, Israel. So, I think danger is surrounding the Islamic Republic from many angles. One could be easing up. The other ones are going to intensify because it is our own doing. For 47 years, they've been an incompetent, institutionally corrupt, and murderous regime. You could see, who can deny what happened in Iran? How can they stay in power? I see them as dead. This government in Iran is not alive. It's just trying to hang on with whatever means. But you have to consider that a lot of wealth was generated by the oligarchs in Iran, and they have to hang on to it. And we hear news that they have hired foreign fighters to come and kill Iranians, to intimidate them, to keep their money. Basically, that's how I see it. There are many, many forces here that are hanging on, but I believe President Trump will be consistent with his remarks at the end. The military operation is 100%, in my mind, it is unavoidable. And apart from that, this regime is not going to fall just because of a military invasion. It's going to fall because it has no relationship to its people anymore. And I hope foreign governments don't prop up a criminal government that kills its own people.
When you say you feel a military operation is inevitable, some have seen sending the military assets to the Gulf as merely a pressure tactic, a way of forcing through negotiations. You think it's much more than that?
When you want to do a show of force, you send one aircraft carrier. But when you send two aircraft carriers, when you send Abraham Lincoln and Gerald Ford, there is some serious business going on. They're not there, as somebody said, they're not there for rest and restoration. They're there for a mission. And it's very unlikely that given the conditions that leaving the Islamic Republic in any way, shape, or form is not something that the countries in the region are going to benefit from. I understand the motivation of some countries in the Middle East, in the Persian Gulf region. Qatar has its own economic interest in competition with the free Iran. They don't want to see a free Iran. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has its own concerns, and I believe there is a difference between the concerns of Qatar over economic matters and the concerns of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia over security matters. Other countries kind of go along with whatever the big ones. Saudi Arabia is going along, and I think Islamic Republic has proven to be a menace to the region, to the world, and most importantly, to their own people.
Thoughts there of Bijan Kian, US-Iranian businessman, connections to Iranian opposition groups, and also someone who has served in the past on President Trump's transition team.